Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to thank our rapporteur for this important subject. We all want to live in a fairer societies where there is no place for any kind of discrimination. But unfortunately, a person's social origin is still a factor in everyday life and especially in times of crisis. I would like to draw your attention to very recent events. The whole situation with the pandemic and measures to fight it have shown us that social justice and equality is still very fragile and mythical category. COVID-19 pushed Europe to close down for quarantine for long and sad months. There was major loss in lives, disruption of economies, and a lot of physical and psychological damage to millions of people across Europe and across the world. The pandemic and resulting challenges across societies highlighted the existing social injustices. One cannot turn a blind eye towards the differential impact of the lockdowns on vulnerable groups, poor families, marginalized groups like migrant laborers, homeless individuals, internally displaced persons. What have we learned from it? We learned that social justice does not really work. We learned that it is the same illness that hit us all, but socially deprived, poor families, ethnic minorities suffered from it much more than rich and powerful. We have seen that lockdown for a person who can hire a charter flight or live in a big house, a villa with a large garden, is very different from the quarantine for a person who is crammed in a small urban studio with the whole family. For the first ones, spending a couple of weeks off the grid is not a big deal, a holiday. For the second one, it's a painful and sometimes dangerous experience. And sadly, it's not experience that saved many of these people from getting this illness. People in lockdown still got ill, and some died. My question is, have we here in this organization done enough to promote fair protection of human rights during the pandemic, to find right balance between quarantine measures and human rights? Or we were carried away by fear-mongering and fell victim to messages promoted by some international organizations who recommended total lockdowns instead of measured and meaningful response based on scientific data and economic and pandemic modeling. We have to learn from these stories. We have to make really important conclusions on how to behave next time in order not to fall victims to fear and panic, because people's lives depend on these decisions and they affect poor more than they affect rich, which is another clear proof that we are still very far away from social justice. So this is the reason why this subject is especially important. And again, I would like to thank the rapporteur for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Arpadarai.